Well, I'm here. Let's see. Participants. Okay. Anyhow, I'm here. Lucy's wagging her tail. She knows she's on camera. Little movie hog, you. Okay. So, what did I talk about on the other side? The attack on Social Security through the Trump accounts. The Republicans, ever since Reagan discovered that he could access the Social Security, and Social Security was the most prosperous, the most uncontaminated program we had until Reagan got into it and decided to borrow from it to balance the budget because he made the law that that budget had to be balanced. So he stole because he's never paid it back. So Ronald Reagan, the hero of the Republican Party before Trump came along, was a scumbag, just like Trump. You know, another man that didn't really understand what he was doing to the American people. See, we don't count, and that's something that you got to understand sooner or later. All right, all the bullshit that goes on. Yeah, we elected. Does it make any difference who we elect? I don't think so. Sometimes, politics is not an honest profession for the most part because it's wheeling and dealing. It's the art of compromise, and eventually, if you keep compromising, you end up losing. You end up in a position that you don't want to be in, and that appears to be Donald Trump's specialty. Apparently, going around and being able to say things that people like, and then going and doing the opposite thing. And you by now you've all seen that quote. He doesn't care about anybody. I don't care about anybody, especially their financial position when I'm negotiating on something different. Like he doesn't worry about that. Well, to a certain degree, he's right about that. He shouldn't worry about that. But the problem is that he doesn't care about us no matter what's going on. You know, and it's about time people realize that he is the lowest form of life on the planet. He is proven time and time again. I think at some point he must have been at least an appealing personality, but he doesn't even have that anymore. He goes up there and he acts as like a clown. China knows that they've got us in their hip pocket. And like I said in my other video just now, he doesn't understand. Chinese have been negotiating for 1,000 years longer than we have, probably. They've been around for a long, long, long time. The art of negotiation is in the barter system. That's the art of the negotiation. And the barter system is one of the oldest forms of payment around. It goes back to the days of the Neanderthals. So human beings have known about negotiating. And the point is that the people that don't understand the subtleties of negotiation, the Chinese studied and North Koreans studied personalities. They learned how to brainwash and whatnot. And they studied all of that, how to influence people. And they know how to do that better than anybody. They do it subtly. You know, Trump is the kind of guy you tickle a little bit under the chin and say, "Good boy, Donnie." And Donnie will melt. He'll give you whatever you want. That's one way of negotiation with Donald. The other way is to say to Donnie, "What do you want?" You ever watch the program Lucifer, TV program? The devil comes to Earth and all this, and he's hanging out with a detective, there's a consultant, or whatever. Anyhow, he has this power to be able to walk up to people and say, "What is it that you desire? What is your deepest, darkest desire?" The Arabs and the Chinese know how to figure that out. Trump doesn't know how to figure it out. Trump thinks everybody thinks the way he does, and that's a huge mistake for anybody to make. Nobody thinks the way you do. You have to either be able to compromise to come to an agreement, or you have to be able to outmuscle them somehow or another to get them to do what you want to do. And Trump realized something. You know, he did, his as powerful as the American military might be, he wasted a lot of munitions over there in Iran, and he doesn't have a lot of munitions left because he's still got to keep stockpiles and munitions other places. For we have deals selling the weaponry and munitions to other countries that we have to fulfill. He's just not smart, uh, as businessman goes. He's excuse me, he's been able to fool the world into thinking that he's the greatest businessman there ever was. You know, there are guys that are sitting around doing basically nothing that are smart enough to uh, follow him, but not follow him, like Gates and Musk and whatnot. These guys are all making deals the same way. They make them based upon greed, and they make them based upon the fact that they can get away with stuff that you and I can't get away with in negotiations. It's just not humanly possible. Okay. But going back to the Ronald Reagan thing, Reagan never. I don't think he ever thought he was a business genius. He thought he was a personality. He did, and his politics was the cult of personality. You know, uh, same thing was when Schwarzenegger was governor, and Schwarzenegger probably could have been elected president too, but in fact, for the fact that he was a naturalized citizen, the naturalized citizens aren't allowed to be president, so he couldn't run. But Reagan, manipulated people into thinking that the Social Security would get paid back and it was a good deal for the country and everything like that. No, we do deficit spending. We spend money we don't have. We're like $1 trillion in debt now, or something like that, or more than $1 trillion in debt, because we've spent money we don't have and probably never will. Unless you stop everything, useless expenditures. And in Trump's idea, useless expenditure is Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, health care, unemployment insurance. All this stuff is, even though we pay into it, the government matches us to a certain degree in some of these like they're like investments, and the investment accounts that used to pay us back. If you look at unemployment fund is probably should be one of the largest funds in the portfolio. It should be similar to Social Security. I didn't. Well, I for a lot of years I didn't pay into it because I was self-employed. Self-employed, that you don't pay into. I don't know whether you do or don't. I don't know. That's my accountant's problem. I think I did, but I'm not sure. But yeah, I must have because I was able to collect on it at one time. So anyhow, you but the amount of unused funds in the unemployment, where do they go? Who's using that, and who's using it for what? You know, that's not a break even. You don't hear them screaming that they're losing money because they're not. You know. I got something in my eye. Hold still. Now you see, if this was a professional video, it wasn't an amateur like me. When I did that, they'd cut and they'd come back to me, continuing the conversation. I don't do that. This is real. This is honest to God live. You don't want to watch it? Go watch it. I kind of enjoy doing this and the prospect of having people watch me. They can ask themselves. I actually feel good about that. you know, uh, I do have some health issues coming up, but we'll wait and see what happens with that. I got a really bad hip. It's very painful. Not to sit here, but if I try to move in any direction, if I sit still, I'm fine. If I move, I get very sharp pain. I'm not sure what that's all about, but it's been creeping up on me and getting worse and worse. So I asked for an X-ray, and this is Columbia, so I might not get that X-ray before I die. So anyhow, did you guys see that? That that trip that Trump was on to China. You guys take a look at the people that are there with him, Musk and some other people, all people that have business interests in China. And Trump comes away with nothing really. So what you have is a government sponsored business trip for the likes of Eric Trump, Musk, and other uh, entities interested in business in China. But it's of diplomatic use. It's absolutely none. They're saying that they won't ship weapons or something to Iran. Well, read what that says because I'm pretty sure it'll tell you the types of munitions and the types of weapons it won't do. It won't ship anything that can be used nuclear. But if you put a bullet in a gun, you sure as hell China's going to sell it to them. Trust me. There's a way around everything. I told you, they're better negotiators than we are because they go in there with a plan. Trump didn't have a plan. It was quite obvious. That's what people said. That's what that they said that he went in there with the seat of the pants, trying to make deals. He didn't even know what he was there to make deals of. He went in there to say to Saab, please help me get out of Iran. Can you help me get out of Iran? Can you make them surrender, please? I don't want to give them anything. I just want them to surrender so I could take everything. I'll give you some of the stuff. Don't worry. But not the nuclear stuff. That's going to be mine. He's not going to destroy that. What an idiot. And it's where he got he'd like to, what he wants to do is see it and get it up close and analyze it to find out what countries gave him the technology. It was us, you dumb bastard. He stole it from us. Our technology is easy to get a hold of, especially with you running security and Hegsworth and the FBI being used as a valet service for Patel and his girlfriend. You know, where's the investigations going on and the criminal activity? I don't see any, unless they sit there checking out some Democrat that they don't like. Trump's been trying to do that, frame everybody. Look, Donnie, you're gonna go to jail if you live long enough. Okay, you three things are gonna happen to you, Donnie, and I don't think any of them are any good. You're gonna get impeached. You're gonna get shot, or you're just gonna disappear. There's no hero syndrome for you, dude. You're not going down. Your legacy is so that this country is so fucked that if it survives, your legacy will be completely wiped away. It's the only way for this country to survive. And that means getting rid of the racist rhetoric that you spew out of that fat mouth of yours. You and Stephen Miller and Hegseth and all the rest of them. Sexist and racist. You got to understand. My mom is right. My mom is was probably the smartest person I've ever known. When she sat down and said, "We need each other. We cannot live alone like this. We can't live in isolation. We need each other. Men need women. We need blacks. We need immigrants. We need everything." And we'll have to wait and see how everything works out. All right, listen up. That's it for today. I've I've seen the screen is showing that people have clicked on and watched me, but I'm not getting any comments. So I'm afraid that my friends have all disappeared, or they're blocking them with their comments from someplace, and I can't find. I've got all the right things checked as far as I can tell. I have no idea where the comments are going, if they're going anywhere, or you're just not making comments anymore. You might have been a bot, in this case you were a very interesting bot to talk to, and you liked a lot of the same things I did. So I'm sorry you're not around anymore, but hey, I'm doing this because I enjoy it. Whether I'll keep doing the both videos, I have no idea. Right now, there's a lot of views on both videos, so I'll probably keep it up for a while and see what goes down. But do me a favor if you can, if you really want to keep me going, you know, uh, bullshitting and talking and having a good time with you guys. You got to subscribe, okay? Just to make me look good. All right. Okay, everybody, take care. Have a great day. Today is Friday, so I will be back tomorrow. Ciao.